Hello, Mark Larsen here for the Drink Catcher podcast. Thanks for joining us. Today, my guest is Sydney Williams. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So, Sydney, we haven't really, it's been relatively recently that we even met.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of background about you and what you do.
Yeah, of course. So I own Daily Dose Coffee in both Hastings and Grand Island, Nebraska. I opened the one in Grand Island almost about 4 years ago, coming up in October, and then just opened the second location, expanding to Hastings back in January.
Okay. So, is this something you always wanted to do?
Yeah. So I feel like when I first started off as a barista at a coffee place, I just grew to love like my regulars, just serving people through coffee and all of the above of just the shape of the coffee industry, and just decided to go for it and open up my own.
So how did you proceed on opening a place like this?
Yeah. So I have a lot of business background in my family, so that definitely helped me. I knew I wanted to get into the industry somehow, just through like my grandpa, my parents, and everything. So coffee was just the winner on it, and I feel like it just very suits my personality.
Your family likes coffee?
They do, yes. My dad didn't think it was the best idea in the world until I showed him, and then now we're proving him wrong every day. So
very awesome, because you're the place. We're in Hastings, Nebraska. This is the one that's been open for how long?
Since January.
Yes. And then there's one in Grand Island, which is just north of Hastings here. How long has that one been?
About 4 years, coming up in October.
Okay, very cool. So would you open another one?
I would love to expand, just kind of just one step at a time is where I'm at. The opportunity over here in Hastings kind of like sparked up. So I've been wanting to expand a little bit, and a little bit smaller of a town was less intimidating than going to the bigger ones. So I feel like it was the right moment, and we just pulled the plug on it, and I've been loving it since.
You took the action. And that's what most people don't do. So I have to ask, with the Drink Catcher podcast, when you were growing up, what were your dreams? What did you think you were going to do when you grew up?
That I feel like your dreams change every year.
I would agree. I would agree on that. Yes.
Definitely, this wasn't like from when I was a kid wanting to do this, but it like kind of rooted more in high school, when I knew that I wanted to kind of be my own boss in a way too. Like I looked into like freelancing or some way to kind of like be a part of social media. I was doing school for a little bit. Then COVID had happened, where it changed a lot for me just in the school year. So then I was able to take advantage and look more into owning a coffee shop, and we just pulled the plug right after COVID.
Okay. Do you have any other businesses you'd ever want to try and open?
Not necessarily. Maybe something that might tie along with the coffee industry, like kind of like looking into like different ways that I can tie those together. But going a completely different route might make me lose my sanity.
I know that if you've never done anything like this, you have no idea what goes into
really
doing.
Just deep dive into something that you don't
becomes your life.
Correct.
Very, very much. So you grew up in Grand Island?
Yes.
Okay.
Born and raised.
So what does your family do over there?
Yeah, so my grandpa, he actually owns a restaurant that's been there for over 20 years.
Awesome.
Yes, Tommy's Family Restaurant.
Okay.
And then my mom, she is in the wedding industry and catering. So she is a wedding coordinator, where she hosts like all sorts of parties, mainly weddings. And so she also does the food as well. And then my dad, he's been in the real estate industry for over 20 years as well. And he has owned a couple other businesses on top of that as well. So
wow, did you help in those when you were growing up?
Yes, growing up I definitely like worked along all of them, and I feel like it just definitely helped wrap me up to who I am too, especially in the business industry. I have a little bit of experience in that way.
And you speak very well. Does it intimidate you to speak, or maybe you do speak in front of people?
I don't really speak in front of people. I feel like it just kind of like flows once I just start talking.
Okay.
But it is very intimidating.
So do you have any siblings?
I do have a younger brother, yes.
Is he entrepreneurial like you?
He just graduated, so I feel like he's at the stage of just figuring out what he wants to do, and I've reminded him, relax, take the moment.
True.
I feel like nowadays it's just so much pressure to figure it all out in your early 20s, when it's very unrealistic to know what you want to do.
Yeah, just start trying things. Yeah, and it's just because I even when I started doing podcasting, it was like, I don't know if I like this, but you don't know until you really get into it for a while.
I'm gonna try a few things.
You do. What you drinking there?
I am drinking a cortado. So it's equal parts espresso to milk ratio.
Okay.
Yes, I always add just a little bit more milk to make it a little creamy and sweeter, but start off with like super. I can go from black coffee to the most sweetest drinks. I like to have a big range of coffee. Depends on my mood of the day.
Yeah, and that's cool because each day is
Well, and hot coffee, the moment it gets cold, I can't drink it no more. So I
I'm
like
kinda
the
that way too.
smaller drinks so I can like sip on it and then I can
Yes.
just have another one later.
Yes. And I'm having some coffee here too. What do you, I'm having
You're having a
just
benchmark, just a black
okay,
coffee.
okay. It's my kind of coffee. Huge too.
I
So
love our coffee. We use Hardy Coffee out of Omaha, and they are
okay.
just a great, amazing company. I think they have about 4 to 5 walk-in locations, and
Really?
they do all their roasting in-house too.
Nice. How'd you find them?
Um, well, that was the fun part, honestly, experimenting when I was going through the stages of opening up the coffee shop was going and trying different products and
I
meeting different
bet.
roasters.
Yeah.
That was definitely so fun. I wish I would have appreciated a little bit more during that time. But nope, I had reached out to a few different roasters and they had contacted me, Autumn. So I went to go meet with her, kind of just told me her backstory. I talked about myself and just more of like the connection on top of the delicious coffee.
Right.
Really made me want to work with them.
No, that is so. If somebody came to Daily Dose and that's where you name your coffee house, what other things can they get besides coffee? You know, I mean, is there things to eat and everything?
Yeah, so we do have some toast options on top of the coffee menu. We like to keep a very simplified menu where it's just my main thing was I wanted a traditional coffee shop, like where it focuses on the coffee. Like when we first started, we had a very small, simple menu because I wanted to be good at the products that we're serving, and then we can expand and try to add new things rather than having an overwhelming menu where one, people don't know what to pick because there's so many options.
That is true. Yeah, that's very true.
And two, where, like I said, we can focus on what we have and be good at what we have on the menu.
Smart.
We do have a rotating seasonal menu that we switch up, like just like summer, spring, just to get people to try new things. Like that's another thing that we love to do is we love to get people out of their comfort zones and trying things that they can be excited when it comes back, and then also look forward to new delicious drinks.
Which is good to expand people's, because we're kind of because we're in this area where I love this area, but we're kind of very conservative. And it's just like you go to any city and it's like, wow, all these options I didn't know were available.
Well, and you also have to learn like who your customer base is too in the area. It's like it's just crazy. Grand Island and Hastings being so close to each other, but there's definitely different like coffee.
I can believe that.
Coffee lovers in different ways. So you might have like more of your sweetness or your like fun, crazy drinks over there, and then here more of like your basic traditional coffees. So it's been fun learning that.
I bet. And you have one toast. What, cucumbers or what?
The pesto cucumber.
That is awesome.
Yes.
I love that. So that is so good. So I like the vibe downtown because Hastings seems to work together.
Oh, yes.
Because when I was told them I was coming over to the podcast, it's like, oh, you're going over, and it's like, which is so cool. So do you do collaborations with other people, or have you yet?
I've done like a few. Yes, I want to say more in Grand Island just because I know a few more people here. I'm still in Hastings, just learning the community and learning everyone down here. But everyone's been very welcoming to me down here. That is one thing I was really excited to join the Hastings community. Was it looked how like everyone works so well together.
They do.
And, like they're very supportive of each other. It's a very local based area. I feel like Grand Island might have a few more like corporations and like bigger companies. Hastings not so as much, but both evenly love a local business.
They are. From Carrie to Steph at Blue Moon. It's just and then they did Matt down at Small Town Famous a little bit. And what he did to that building is amazing.
Yes.
But I think it's because I've gone to other downtowns where they do not collaborate.
Yeah.
And I just because everybody that I talked to that was coming to here today, they all knew you very well already.
Good.
And I thought that was so cool. It's a win-win too. Yes. So
it's a community. It's a community amongst all of us. It's not a competition. We should all be able to work together.
Amen. I definitely. So in the probably a little bit of free time you like, what do you like to do if you have free time?
I love to travel. That is one of my things I love to like. I'm a big experience person. That's also one thing I try to like add into our menu is like experiences within our drinks.
Nice.
But just like going and just exploring and seeing what else is out there. I feel like sometimes in our small town, like I said, I've lived in Grand Island my whole entire life. It could just be stuck doing the same thing. It get very repetitive. So I love to just like go and explore and see what else is out there. So it can just like open my mind to so many new things.
It is. So what is the place that you traveled to that you really liked?
One thing I love is Colorado. Colorado has my heart. I know it's not too far, but Colorado is just like the perfect little drive, little getaway, but it's not too far.
Well, you can just about get anything. If you like the city with Denver and the Front Range there or the mountains, do you ski?
I have skied once.
Okay.
It was
You probably snowboard.
It was no, I did skiing. I knew I was learning my lesson not to snowboard. All my friends did, and they regretted it.
They tell me it can be painful.
Yes, it was the worst pain ever, but I would do it again. Yes.
So where did you go?
We went to South Dakota since it was a lot of me and some friends. It was their first time, their first experience, so it was just a little bit more on the cheaper side than going straight to Colorado. Cool. We definitely would have wanted to experience Colorado sometime, though.
Yeah, no, I love. Well, and then Colorado's pretty awesome.
Yes,
I mean, I like Denver. My brother-in-law lives in Denver, and talk about finding different things.
Yeah,
and so much. So, have you gone to Europe? Have you flown to Europe?
I haven't yet. That is on my to-do list and my bucket list. I don't think I'm quite ready for that travel day. So I've heard it's quite long. It's a long day.
Yeah.
So I haven't added that to it yet.
Cheryl and I did that a couple of years ago. And Cheryl's my wife. We flew from Denver we were going to Italy, southern part of Italy. And,
I bet it was beautiful.
Oh, yeah, I loved it. I did not want to come home.
Yeah.
And but we flew from Denver to Munich and Munich to Naples, and it's just like, and from Denver to Munich.
It's like, are we there yet?
Oh my gosh. And then we were coming into Naples, and they said the volcano there, which I did see it finally. They said it was showing activity. And it's like, I told my wife, it's like, we're gonna die by a volcano. But it was so awesome. People were so well. Everybody spoke English. And I know I've said that in these podcasts before, but I was just, you have this idea in your head what it's going to be like, and it was so different. They're crazy drivers. They are absolutely crazy drivers.
That's a lot when you leave the country.
Oh,
it's just
my
completely
word.
different than our roads.
But everybody was so friendly.
Yeah.
And they.
It's nice to come from Nebraska where it's already a friendly area.
It was just like
somewhere.
Everybody was very talkative. We stayed, which had been an olive garden, where they had raised olives and stuff. Olive farm, I guess.
Yeah.
And we had chickens and we had geese and we had everything around us.
That is awesome.
And overlooked the Naples Bay there. And but yeah, education is the best.
Well, and you can have expectations of what it's going to be like, and then you get there like, wow, this is completely different.
Oh, it was.
I like the joy of that, of just. You're going into something so raw, you don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah, and everybody, because it's like, well, the English that they spoke was that, and then I thought it was expensive, and it was very comparable to, actually very comparable to here.
Yeah.
The food was so good.
That's always my favorite, the food. I am a foodie.
Awesome. Getting that fresh cotton and the seafood, and it's just like, it was tough coming back to.
It definitely is. It always is.
Sorrento is like, yep, I could live here.
Yeah.
I could definitely live here. So if you were going to Europe or traveling, what would be the first country you'd want to go to?
Oh, that is a great question. Don't know for Europe, but for one place I've been wanting to go to is Costa Rica is on my list again, because I would love to go to a coffee farm and actually get to like hands-on and experience that. I think would be really cool. And then another place I have on my list too is Greece. I'm a big Mamma Mia lover.
Yeah.
I would love to go and see that just in person. Cool. So
no, I mean, and Costa Rica seems kind of like the hot place to go now too.
Yeah.
So and it's just like
it's beautiful too. Like from pictures I've seen, I'm sure that it's way better in person, but pictures don't even do it justice.
No, it isn't. It's just like, wow, this is amazing. Pictures don't capture what it's like.
Yes, 100%.
So, I mean, do you have hobbies that you like to do?
Wow, when I have the time. I feel like that's, as a business owner, your personal life definitely gets put on the back burner. I try to, that's one thing I have for a goal for myself in these next couple of years, is just finding more hobbies. But I will say, like, at home, I love to just try to be outside as much as possible, hanging out with friends, just having more of a social life of it. When I am at home, I like to just like work on little crafts and projects, just to kind of like close off your mind from all the craziness.
Downtime from all that.
Yes. So I would say like more hobby is like finding ways to have more downtime. But I would love to work on that in the future.
Yeah, no, I can understand that.
Yes.
Especially when you're just getting, I mean, this hasn't been open that, really neither one have been open that long. So.
Being two places at once right now is impossible.
So, okay, you're an action taker. So if somebody, because most people say, I'm going to do this some days. That's why I started this podcast, because people don't catch their dreams. Life happens, all those.
Yeah.
So if somebody had this dream, what would you tell them?
Don't let the fear of failing keep you from going after it.
Amen.
You're going to fail many times, and it's going to be okay. I feel like you got to take it as like a lesson, whatever. Okay, so I failed here. What did I do, or what can I do differently to be able to succeed in something different?
Yes.
So it's just really going for it.
It is.
It sounds silly to say that, and it's just like having the confidence. I feel like nobody knows what they're doing. I sure did not know what I was doing when I was jumping into it, but I was, one, willing to learn, and two, just had the confidence that nobody knew I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And it worked out.
You just fake it till you make it. Yeah.
No, really, that is the truth. It really is.
Yeah, it was kind of the same way with the podcast. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Well, and being open to input too. I feel like that's one thing. You learn a lot from other people. So when people are having their input, having conversations, meeting new people, I feel like it's also the beauty of business. There's a lot of helpful people out there. Obviously, there's going to be people that aren't going to wish good for you, and that's sad.
It is.
But there is a lot of helpful people out there.
There are. And I always tell people if you don't know what you're doing, there's a YouTube out there probably. Because there's always something.
Or there's someone else that's had that experience already. So
I always say it's inspirational for people thinking they might want to do that, because it's like they did it, and they kind of showed that it's possible.
Yes,
because everybody thinks, I don't know anything about this. Like, you're not going to until you start going through it.
Our minds are way more powerful than we think.
Oh, yes.
Put stuff into existence, tell ourselves that we can do it, motivate ourselves.
Yeah, it's just
we're our own worst enemies.
We are very much. And I tell everybody they should have a podcast, because it's extremely easy to get started, because it's very low entry point for cost.
Yeah.
You can use your phone, you can use laptop.
Especially with the resources we have nowadays. I feel like you can definitely jump into a lot of things.
You can find actually software that records, it's a lot of free stuff out there. And it's like, people are waiting for your voice. And it's like, why don't I have you contribute? It's like, yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get Pioneer Village in Minden to do one. And oh my gosh. Because in the wintertime, it's very slow there, which makes sense for a museum like that. But they could do video after video after video and put it on a YouTube channel and start bringing income. But they're not sure. And then they wanted me to be their full-time podcaster. It's like, I don't want a job. I don't do jobs, I'm open to helping anybody start a podcast, because I really do think that everybody has.
And that falls back into like the community rather than competition.
Yeah, and everybody's like, it's like, I don't charge for that. I just want to see you out there putting your voice out there, and your vibe attracts your tribe. Yeah. Your vibe is awesome.
Thank you. Your vibe is awesome.
But it's just go for it, like you said. Yeah, I
agree.
And I mean, that's why I do these, and it's around and. I don't know. It's not that hard. Yeah. Today's world is not that hard. I mean,
I will admit, having a support system, though, that's one thing I was grateful when I had Open Mind. I had a really good support system around me, around my family, my friends. So I definitely don't think I could have done it without that. So
no, I could see that too.
That could be a little unrealistic from just going for it. Yeah. But everyone always says you do need a village for anything and everything.
You do.
Yeah.
And that's one thing with podcasting. It's been very much collaboration.
Yeah.
I do a lot of back and forth. And then there's this Facebook group, which is actually one of my Facebook groups that these people have that is actually very good.
I love Facebook
because I get a lot of guests from there, and it's back and forth, and it actually is really legit.
That's the first thing I joined when I was looking into a coffee shop. Is I joined a Facebook group just to talk to other people. You could talk to people in your area and other businesses, but talking to someone that's in the same position as you in another state or just has had previous experiences.
It's priceless.
Yes, because sometimes I'll be talking to my friends and they'll look at me like I'm crazy, but then I go talk to another business and they're like, "Oh no, that makes total sense." Okay, I'm not crazy.
People at the same place where you're at.
Yes.
But no, I mean it is, and everybody's got their dreams, and I just wish people would just say, "I'm going to do it now."
Yes.
The power of now.
Because if not, when?
Yeah, exactly. And you get to the point where, I'm too old. There's always something that can stop you.
Never too old to start a new hobby or to start something new.
And that's people is like, you're doing this. Wouldn't you want to be starting to get ready to retire? It's like, I'm never retiring.
I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, why would I do that? And I look at my classmates, and they're all, which I'm surprised with today's world. They're so much following the traditional, and it's like, why don't you do which the wherewithal? God put that dream in your heart for a reason.
No, we really only have this life once.
We do, and it goes by very, very quick. So I look at my age, and it's like, wow, what happened?
Yeah.
So no, and it is. People are waiting for somebody to come up and show you. That's what God has told me. He says, I'm supposed to show people their gifts and show them the way.
And sometimes that can be through people too, people that motivate you. I feel like that's what I talked about, having a support system. One thing I admire about my friends is they really push me to be a better person. I feel like the people you surround yourself around definitely
hold you accountable too.
Yes. They should you who you are.
Yes. Very, very, very important.
And people are going to come and go, and that is okay.
They
too.
will.
Yeah.
So, and just all the people that you meet, all the people I've met just doing this, and I pretty much can know the whole downtown pretty soon.
Yeah. You're just gonna be going door to door next.
Yeah, yes. In fact, we just should have a podcasting party.
Yes.
They just show me in that podcasting room over there at the new place, and oh my gosh. But no, and then the library. I didn't realize how the library had a podcasting area. And
I did not know that.
Yeah, I was the first one to use it. They've been there since 2019.
Wow.
And it's like, so what are you missing? It's like cables.
Yeah.
But that makerspace over here is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And and that's another thing. I'm also promoting libraries because everybody's like, they have that idea with libraries, and libraries are not that way anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can still get books there, but there's such a resource.
Yeah, for sure.
Even the makerspace in Grand Island is an amazing place.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, in fact, I went to a library that was in Ashland, Nebraska, at that awesome French cafe they had there.
Okay.
And I've just been going to libraries, and they're very awesome library there too.
I know. I need to take one day off where I just go explore. Especially just in downtown
Ashland is really
okay.
They've only been open a year,
okay.
And I think perfectly placed between Lincoln and Omaha, because they were. They said they were thinking opening right before Christmas. They would probably get that much. I think the first weekend they said they had to line out the door.
Oh wow!
It's like
awesome.
That's hitting the ground running.
Yes, that is awesome to hear.
So when you started doing this, was that intimidating?
It was definitely joining into a field, like I said, where you don't really know until you like try and like go for it.
Right.
Like I said, I definitely had the experience in the background from my family, so that definitely put me a step forward. But just jumping into and then like not knowing the people, but I feel like I tried to be as transparent as possible. I may not know something, but I'm willing to learn. So like calling people like, hey, I don't know how to go about this. Can you help me? Or like, what's the best way to do this? And I feel like people either are closed off to that, or they're very open, like, oh yeah, I'm more than happy to help you and all that stuff. So it's very intimidating. And I was only 20 when I opened up the first location.
Wow.
So that was even more intimidating because I felt like I could have got like dismissed just for my age some moments too. And also being a woman in the industry. That is very intimidating as well. Living in a man's world is
you would think with where we're at in this, that
you would think it would be different, but you still everyday experience
it.
So
I mean, gosh. At 20, I'd have been so intimidated on that. So, so at what age did you decide you were going to do that, or maybe?
I want to say about like 16, 17.
Wow.
I knew I was going to like jump into it. It was just figuring out how and where, and
that is so.
I saw about like 3 different spaces in Grand Island before I found the one that I was at, and I'm definitely grateful and happy for.
You have a nice place.
Yes,
very nice.
Yes, definitely in the prime time. I feel like downtown Grand Island has developed a lot just in the last 5 years. So it's been very beautiful to be a part of that.
Very nice.
And being in the core middle of the downtown.
Yeah, you are. Perfect space there. Right on the corner there. And it's very good. So with this coffee, I mean, would you add more products? Do you have tea?
Yes, we do have tea. So we have like coffee and tea options. So when I say like a traditional coffee shop, like I feel like sometimes it can get over consumed by just like different beverages.
Right.
Which to each their own, that's for everyone. That's just one thing I wanted to kind of steer away from. I really wanted to have like a very limited like syrup option that didn't last very long because I knew it wasn't going to work for the areas. But for example, when I've gone to like LA or like New York, I love how some cafes only have like 3 flavor options and they make them in-house because then it knows that those flavors are good and they really complement their product. So that's one thing I very like am picky on is when I am adding drinks or experimenting with our menu is making sure it complements our recipes and our ingredients and we're using high quality ones. And it just makes sense for the coffee. It's not over taking away from other things, if that makes sense.
It does. So do you make a lot
we don't, not with our syrups. I would love to maybe someday, but at the time being, that is one thing that we haven't added to our list.
I can understand
but we tried like, that's one thing when I went through our whole menu, especially even the roasting, when I went with like different roasters, I taste tested every single thing that we have on our menu. And I try to say I have a range of like, my taste buds can taste different things, but try to get as best quality products for a good price. So it's not too expensive. I try to keep, I understand that coffee is really expensive nowadays. It has a lot goes into it, the labor costs, the rent costs, utilities, and then we also have all of our equipment. So that's where some people can get scared off of the prices of coffee nowadays, but also being ensured that our ingredients are just
premium ingredients.
Yes, correct. So yeah,
Okay.
so that could be
So how did you come up with the name?
the Daily Dose Coffee.
Yeah.
I was sitting there like brainstorming, just like figuring out what would be like someone's kind of like catchy to it. And I was like, okay, you're like Daily Dose. Like you got to get your daily dose
That's
of coffee.
true. Yeah,
like,
and very much I do.
Yes, yes. So that was like one thing. And then like I put the beans next to it. I was like, okay, these kind of like look like a dose, like just something that you eat every day.
That's true.
Maybe Coffee's Addicted to Me kind of tied in with the daily dose part of it. So
it's addicted to me.
Yes, exactly. And people just love it when they see the sign. That was one thing I was super excited when I came to Hastings, was putting that on the wall was one of the first things I did, because I was just overly excited.
So do you have like events or anything that people come in, like, or special kind of like events? Or people can come in like you're having a special night or something, or
that's a good question.
Day, or
I haven't quite done that. I've done a few collabs like in Grand Isle where we've had like some like artists come in and like play music, or just like some
I love
collabs
that.
I have with other people. I haven't personally done anything on my own. I would love to in the future.
Okay.
But we haven't quite, or we've like rented out the space for like events. I feel like I've tried to create like a safe space and a happy place for people. Like, yes, you are serving coffee out the door, but people have the comfort of coming there.
Yeah.
And that's the atmosphere is everything. And
it is.
So people just like when they reach out, they want to have a party. They're like, I just love the vibe and the energy in there. Like, yes, the product is good, but they want just to be in the shop.
Yeah, exactly. So do you sing or play an instrument?
Oh no. In the shower, in the car, I'll definitely sing it off. Karaoke.
But it's not going to be you singing.
No.
Okay. That would be me too. It's like, no, that's not happening. That's for sure.
I'm the business crazy. Haven't gotten creative in different ways in that sense.
So do you have a website? How can people find you?
Yes. So we are on social media. We have Facebook, Instagram. I feel like we're a lot more Instagram based. One thing I love about our customers is they advertise for us. I can talk about our product and talk about our company as much as I want, but our customers are amazing with how much they hype us up.
Yes.
I love it when they snap a picture. That's one reason why too we have the wall, we have the plant wall in Grand Island. You want your customers snapping those pictures.
Yeah.
Social media is very big nowadays.
Yes.
So when they sit there and they're like, oh my God, this drink is beautiful. It just makes you feel so good as a barista knowing that person's taking a picture of your latte art or your.
It is, because it is art.
Yes, it really is. It's a handcrafted beverage by each barista.
It is. No, so okay, you maybe later on. Is there another business you would like to open up sometime?
Not on the radar right at the moment. Just since we expanded over here, I would love to like down the road. If I could get us in every city, that would be wonderful. But
like a business that's not coffee related. Is there any business like that?
Nope, I don't think so at the moment. Just because I have like the experience through my family, like I can kind of get out and do different things with them and have some fun with theirs. But definitely coffee is my aim point now.
That's good, and it is good to be focused. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, would you ever do a podcast yourself?
Oh, probably not. I love listening to them. But I'm not sure if I can talk that much.
But I can see you doing that.
Yeah. Okay.
I can see you. Even I could tell everybody's like, that's something that's my podcast. You could do one a month or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
I guess one thing. The people I talk to a lot is my baristas. I love just giving them just my experience on how I handle things. One thing about coffee shops, you have a really big turnover rate just because sometimes it's not the career for everyone or it's more just a short-term job. So I try to find the joy in having my baristas with me for just a short period of time. So I get to see them either graduate college, graduate high school, or different chapters of their life of them turning 16 or them turning 21. I think that's just beautiful to watch them in those different stages.
That is cool.
And then they come back to so I have all the girls that go to UNL. They'll come back 3 years later oh my gosh, I love coming here. It's beautiful to see those different stages. So I guess maybe that's my podcast part.
It's
I just talking to them.
Yeah, I mean, you could just. Do you like writing then?
That's one thing too. I would love to get more into writing and reading if I had the time.
Yes,
that's where podcasts work good. Is when I'm driving in the car, traveling. I could just put on something I can listen to.
Yeah, because you've got. both places you've got. Nicole over here and then Danielle over at your other place with awesome bookstores.
Yes,
which is another thing. Get more bookstores, aren't they? And it's no, they're not.
They have a lot of character to them.
They do. And
you can get one thing from one place to another. That's where sometimes people see different businesses open up in let's say a downtown area and they're oh, another one. It's just each place offers completely different things or a completely different atmosphere or a completely different vibe to the community.
Yes. No, in fact, Nicole said a while back, she said, would you want to teach podcasting over at my place? And it's maybe.
And that's where also when you
So-
start and like go after your dream, the opportunities that could lead to something next that you
They
didn't even think of or know about.
They do, and I always tell people that when you do go for your dream, that the way kind of shows itself and the resources and
Yeah, for
all
sure.
of that. Because it's been amazing that people
Definitely
just-
the people you meet, right?
Yeah,
Like that's
it
one thing I
is.
love being in the industry. Is
And-
just people coming in and out of the door all day, and just
word
the
of mouth.
conversations.
You know, like you
Yes.
said, word of mouth is the best, and it's just like I want to be on your podcast.
Yeah.
And and Daniel's like, I think maybe CCC was looking over in Grand Island and it's like,
Yeah.
it is cool. All the people I wouldn't have met if I hadn't gone after this dream, I probably would. I'll probably maybe have met you because I had been here for
Well, the
coffee.
first time we came in, we had a
So,
good conversation.
yes,
we just
we
started
did.
talking to each other.
So no. So okay, before we end the podcast,
Yeah.
what else would you like the audience to know? What's you know,
Yes.
maybe with something coming up or
Nothing coming up at the moment. We are obviously working on different projects to expand in different ways and adding things to better serve our community.
okay.
One thing I will say about like coffee, just some people might see like a local coffee shop as just like, oh, they're just like going to like get a drink or
Right,
whatever type
right.
of thing. I've said this before, community is like a big thing. It definitely
Yes.
is serving people through cups of coffee. Like our baristas are ready to have those fun conversations, be excited for someone about their hair appointment. Oh,
That's
or
true,
like,
yes.
hey, I
Yes.
just like found out this great news. Like there's so much more to it.
Yep.
And like that's where I bring up like the atmosphere of it. People having a safe space where they're excited to come talk to us.
Mhm.
That's one thing I love about downtown locations is you have all the other like services around in
do.
the area. Like
Yes.
you're going to go to a yoga class, or you're going to go to your hair appointment, or you're going to the bookstore. You have
exactly,
to have
yes.
something in your hand as a drink
True.
and then have a great interaction on
Yes.
top of it
It's
too.
perfect.
And
And win-win, that's for sure.
exactly. So there's
No.
so much more to it
There
than
really-
just the coffee.
There is. Yeah, and being part of a nice community like Van Dalen or
Yes.
Hastings. I mean, they're both.
Very supportive of each other. I feel like it, even just the business owners, the way that they support each business too. Like, yes,
Yes.
the customers that come in and out of the downtown areas, but really the backbone is the people that are in the core of the downtown.
Amen. No, you ever thought about putting one in Kearney?
I have not thought about it,
Okay.
but I love to just see what leads me to the
Yeah.
to the next spot.
And that you'd be getting to know the Tri-Cities quite well there
Yes.
with all that stuff.
I don't know about that drive though. I
Yeah, that's
haven't
quite a
gotten
bit. I was
used
going to say even going from
haven't
Grand Island to
gotten used to
Hastings
this
is
one
quite a
yet.
bit. So maybe you get your brother.
I might have to do that.
So you guys work well together?
Yes, he's definitely helped all of our businesses out as well
Awesome.
too. I'm very grateful for him.
That is
He
very
kind
cool,
of
too.
is just a little brother. I'm like, hey, I need to do this. So he's like, okay, he'll do it unwillingly.
I know
but
that.
He'll do it.
I know how that. My sister would have been. Yes, would be the same way.
I definitely be like,
So-
hey, I need something hung up. Can you do that? And he's just
Uh-huh.
like, I guess.
That sounds like a little brother. Definitely. So, but
Just
that's,
complaining while doing it.
yeah, that's family. That's just the way it
Yes.
is. That's for sure. So, well, Sydney, thank you. This is awesome coffee. And people can find you, on pretty much
Yes,
everywhere.
yeah, Facebook, Instagram. If you go, just leave a Google search. You can
Okay,
find
we put
us
some
where
stuff in the show
locations
notes,
are.
too.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Awesome. So, I want to thank you for being on the Drink Catcher podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well,
This was so
thank
exciting.
you. And I look forward to what's next.
Yes.
So, have you ever thought about doing a food truck or something like that, or coffee truck?
I definitely have thought about it.
Okay.
It's not on the list yet, but
Okay.
it's up in
Okay.
the thoughts.
It's
and the
in
words.
there. Okay.
Yes.
So maybe I'll look sometime and it's like
If you saw my list, you would be so overwhelmed.
I bet I could definitely believe that. So no, that is cool. You
Yes.
take action, and that's so
Yes.
important on getting your drinks. That's for sure.
Yes.
So on that one, this episode of the Drink Catcher podcast. Thank you for joining us
Thank
today,
you. Thank you
and
so much.
have a great day.
Yes.